to anyone. Yeah. I recommend walking around naked in your living room. Yeah. Swallow it down. What a jagged little pill. It feels so good. Swimming in your stomach. Wait until the dust settles. You live, you learn, you love, you learn, you cry, you laugh, you lose, you learn, you bleed, you learn, you scream, you learn. I recommend biting off more than you can chew to anyone. I certainly do. I recommend sticking your foot in your mouth at any time. Feel free. Pull it down. The ocean looks you from the rim. Hold it up to the rays. You wait and see when the smoke clears. You live, you learn, you love, you learn, you cry, you laugh, you lose, you learn, you bleed, you learn, you scream, you wear it out. So the 3-year-old will do. They held it down. You're gonna have to eventually anyway. The fire trucks are coming up around the bend. You live, you learn, you love, you learn, you cry, you laugh, you lose, you learn, you bleed, you learn, you scream, you learn, you grieve, you learn, you choke, you learn, you laugh, you choose, you learn.
Hi, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I thought that this was just a great song. I love this song. I remember listening to this. I think I was in like high school or something. And it's such a good song because it talks about you live, you learn, you cry, you learn, you lose, you learn, you grieve, you learn. And that isn't that what life is all about? It's about learning. And there's so many different things that happen in your life, and each one is a lesson. You have to learn from those lessons, and that's I think key to being successful, to living a happy life. Everybody's like, what's the key to happiness? I think it's learning. I really think it's learning. And through all the struggles and everything we go through, Alpine's here, you have to learn. You have to learn from it, and you have to then move forward. Hi, Casey. And so I just thought it was a great song, and I love that song. And that's one of those songs that you can sing in the shower. That you could totally sing in the shower, sing in the car, have your microphone and let it out. It's such a good song. But welcome everybody in. Thanks for being here. Couple things to get me kicked off tonight. So if you've missed any of my lives, you can click on my little face here, and there's a a little button for the YouTube channel. So if you miss anything, you can go watch it there. And then also you have my email address too. If you want to reach out, please do. And I get messages every day, and I really, really appreciate those. And I get messages of people going through certain experiences, those that have been treated poorly by somebody else on this app. And it's, I really enjoy and I appreciate you guys opening up and being vulnerable and sharing with me. So thank you for that. And today has been one hell of a day, I tell you what, or so I've seen. And so I think today, last night I kind of went off because I was pissed. Thank you, Amy. Yes, I'm okay. I'm safe at the moment. And I was pissed. And after so long, you just can't help but be upset at everything that's going on. And I had a couple conversations today, and it was like, well, what do I do here? Honestly, what do I do? I left the relationship, okay? And then for 4 months, he went on this app every day and just spiraled completely out of control. 4 months, I was silent. Didn't even come on here. And then when I decided to come on and address this, it still continues every day. So it's a lose-lose situation. I mean, at least for me, I could be quiet and not say a word, and it continues. I could speak up, and it continues. And I am his crutch. I have been since day one. And it's a lose-lose for me. But I want to continue to talk about this type of behavior because, again, we're going to learn. And that's like tonight's song. We're going to learn. And it's going to hurt. It's just like the song. You bleed, you learn. You scream, you learn. You grieve, you learn. You laugh, you learn. You choose, you learn. And so I want to continue having these conversations because I want to spread awareness. And really what's happening with him is he's actually having a battle with himself, right? And so he's upset and he's angry about things that he says, things that he does, because what I've shown and what I've played is his own audio or video recordings, right? It's himself. And so then play his own voice and then talk about what this behavior is. So he's actually having a fight with himself, not with me, with himself. And he will continue to spiral and spiral and spiral. And so what I wanted to really talk about tonight, because I think it's relevant, it's 100% relevant, is intimidation. And really what that is and how a narcissist, and especially an extreme one, uses intimidation. And I've talked about it briefly sometimes. And part of the court order too is that the restrained person shall not contact, harass, stalk, injure, intimidate, or threaten. That's part of the protection order. So I really, really, really want to talk about intimidation. And I've got my notes here. But really what they do is they use the intimidation as a tactic to completely avoid accountability. And I've said this so many different times. It's avoiding accountability. And the intimidation is, it's name calling, it's belittling, it is trying to assert dominance in some way over the other person. And so when you're in that position, they blame the person that's trying to make the narcissist or trying to hold them accountable. It's what they're doing. And so I've talked a lot about projection and accusing others of so many different things. And again, that is 100% to circumvent accountability. And they're going to attack the other person, completely attack. Right now, I'm the host. I am the host of the parasite. That's where the attacks are coming. They're coming at me. They're coming at anything that's important to me. So if you're important to me and in my life, you're part of it. And it's not going to stop. And like I said earlier, I was quiet for 4 months and it would just as bad as it's going now. So what do I do? What do I do? Do I shut up? Not create awareness? Not let people see what's going on? Or do I continue to speak out? And I'm choosing to continue to speak out. What the type of intimidation that they'll use is they'll continue to argue with other people. And what this does is this gets them immediate results. Like it's so easy. So when a narcissist is confronted, they'll pick some minor, small, little thing and then argue it and turn it up to 1,000 degrees, right? That's what they'll do. They will completely take the smallest little thing and boom, turn it up. And they'll be persistent about it and continue and continue and continue and continue. That's a form of intimidation. It's exhausting. It's frustrating. But the other person gives up because it's like, how much more can you take? But you can't give up. You can't get up. What they'll also do is they will deny things. And I touched on it briefly last night, is they will try and rewrite history. They will try and completely exaggerate certain things or flat out lie about them. Flat out lie about them. So they'll always take the victim role. We know that. We'll always take the victim role. And when they're forced to being held accountable, they're not going to do it. So it leaves you questioning yourself, your own memory, and a narcissist, when they're using this method, will have selective amnesia. How many times have you seen that? Selective amnesia. Will completely space out things or pretend like they don't remember doing it. And there's many messages and things out there. I've played those before where it's like, oh my gosh, I just watched my last week's worth of Snapchats or something like that. And I can't believe I said those things. No, they happened, and they happened publicly. They'll also try and divert things, and that's another form of intimidation. They'll have an outburst over something, and again, it's something that's pretty insignificant, but will continue to exaggerate and to incite the other person to draw attention away from what's actually really happening. And this is what you guys see on here, and this is behaviors to watch out for if you have somebody like this in your life, is that they will completely try and divert everything so that they're not in the spotlight. And when the heat comes on, they will continue to project and get louder and triangulate and try and make themselves look like the victim. And they're going to drain every resource that they possibly can to make themselves look good, right? Right, it does feel like you're in Alice in Wonderland. And the other thing, another tactic of intimidation that they'll do is they will make you fear and make you avoid them, which is probably a good thing to avoid them. But they're going to take your smallest fear and turn it into paranoia, right? Smallest little thing, and they will haunt you with that. Totally haunt you. And what they're trying to do is get a reaction. I've played it for you. It's in, records and stuff where it was calling to say that he will unalive himself if he doesn't talk to me. That is to intimidate by creating fear, but also to elicit a response. Right? And so that's some of the intimidation tactics that a narcissist will use. And I've seen the extreme. I've seen the little things done. They're very calculated and thought through. And some are so extreme that you can't even fathom that somebody could do this, right? You can't even think that a person is capable of either saying or doing these things. And so I came across something today, and it's called Effective Tactics to Make a Narcissist Panic, right? And they really say that there's 4 tactics, but it kind of goes, there's a lot of different ways to do it. And I was really drawn to this article because I'm like, gosh, this would have been good to know a long time ago. But the first thing is that a narcissist they're going to lie about everything. 100% they're going to lie about everything. And they're going to use intimidation tactics to make their victims afraid. And so again, the louder they get, the more that they talk about it, the more that they just keep spewing the stuff. They're trying to make the victim scared and to get them either to come back, go away, or shut up. That's what they're trying to do. We cannot let that work. That's why I will continue to talk about these types of behaviors, because I'm not going to let this happen. I'm not going to be afraid anymore. No, don't get me wrong. I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified. But I'm not going to be living in fear. I can't live in fear. So that they're going to use the tactics. I've talked about the gaslighting. I've talked about the lying. I've talked about the triangulation, and that's pulling other people in. And that is 100% what happens all day long via social media and this app. They're trying to make you look like the crazy one. When you leave a narcissist or you call them out, they're going to make you and make others think that you're the crazy one, right? They're going to crave that external validation. And in my situation, you see that this happens all day long. But they can be intimidated and back down when they're pushed. That's what we're also experiencing. When they're pushed and called out and said, no, this is not okay, they start to kind of fall apart, right? When you're honest with a narcissist, you can shock them. So you could speak factually to avoid confrontation. I was going through my files in my phone earlier tonight, and I came across some cute videos, of my puppies. And then I scrolled across a video that I had from June, and it was me having an honest conversation about his mental health with him and saying, something is wrong and we need to get you help. And he was just fighting me, slammed the door, locked me out of the room. And I said, you need to get help. You need to get help. And that was at the end of June. And hands were up because he was so defiant that it was other people, that he wasn't the problem. When you stand up to a narcissist and you expose their hidden secrets, that makes them panic. And we're watching that right now. They're going to lose control. And that's the one thing that they want, is they want control over everybody and everything. Because they rely on manipulation and intimidation to assert control over people. And when their behavior escalates and they try to regain control, but you refuse to give in, they completely panic. And I guess that's what you call spiral. And so those are the things that I really wanted to talk about tonight, because they're so relevant. But I think it's a good message to really understand the behavior, the tactics behind it, why they will choose to act this way. They're not going to change. They're not going to change, especially this far into it. It's not going to change. But they want to have that control. They want to have the power. They want to control the narrative. And when he or they get pushed, that's when they try and use that intimidation to scare you. And I tell you what, it's terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. But the intimidation is not going to work. It's not going to work. And so then, okay, so people that have been watching at least my situation, and they've watched all this unfold, some are hanging on for a long time, really, really hanging on for a long time. And that's typical for people that are around narcissists. They hang on way too long, and then you start seeing the masks come off, and then it keeps coming down and keeps coming down and keeps coming down, and they'll use every way to gaslight, manipulate people to make them think that they're okay, but they're not. And so once that mask starts coming down, and it's consistently down across multiple different platforms, it's got to start clicking, folks. Ding, ding, ding. It's got to start clicking. The best thing to do as a friend or somebody that cares is to not let this continue to happen, right? Is get him help. Get people like this help. And it's very hard to do. Trust me. I've got proof. But there's people in his life that should be stepping in. That should be stepping in and trying to get him the help that he needs. He's not going to listen. He's not going to listen to big creators. I tried that tactic too. I tried that because I knew that he wouldn't listen to me, wouldn't listen to friends, wouldn't listen to anybody else. Who would he listen to? Who was significant enough that he would take advice from? It's somebody with millions of followers on TikTok. I tried. I made those calls, and they tried too, and it didn't work. Didn't work at all. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys, but the intimidation's real. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying. But again, like I said at the beginning, they don't, well, no, you're right there. They don't think they need help, and they're better than anybody else. Yep. And that is, if you have people like this in your life, again, like the song at the beginning, learn. Continue to learn and learn and learn so you can understand and you can protect yourself. Yeah. But it's having a conversation, a couple people. What do I do? What do I do? I sat for 4 months. 4 months. And didn't say a word. Same result. I speak up. Same result. Yeah, he's been reported. He has been reported. No, I do not. It's good questions. Good questions, you guys. Yeah. Yep. It is interesting, the people that won't stand up. You know, if they cared, if they actually cared, they'd get him help. Do I mean to protect myself? I think so. How did I break away? I left. I left and went to the police. I have no clue. I have no clue. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, I was one of them too, is they will surround themselves with enablers. They will 100% surround themselves with enablers. Physically, no. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get away, and that's the point of coming on here, sharing my experience in hopes that, creating awareness to try and help others learn on how to not get into a situation like this, or if you're in a situation like this, that you get the hell out of it. Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's domestic abuse, or domestic violence does not have to be physical. And a lot of people are misinformed. They think that it has to be physical, and it's not. It can be, but that's just one way. It could be multiple different things. And my judge deemed it as domestic violence because we were living together in an intimate relationship together, and this is where we ended up. Yeah, when you go through something like this, it's people say it'll take years and years and years to get out. I don't think it'll ever go away. I think that this is a part of me now, and I don't know how to swallow that one. I really don't. I really don't know how to swallow. I never thought that I would have protection orders against people. I never thought that I would have to get law enforcement involved in one of my relationships and have warrants out for violations to that protection order. I never thought that other people in my life would have protection orders against somebody that I loved. I never thought that I would have advocates through the courts, through the police departments, that I would, be offered self-defense classes and home security systems. I never thought that I would ever be in this situation. But it's not going to define me. It's going to be a part of who I am forever. And it's part of, unfortunately, my family's life too. I brought this to them. And it's the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. Dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. Yeah, the self-defense classes, they'll help. I've taken some before. Yes, and what I do, so those that miss any of my lives, I do post them to YouTube because a lot of people were asking. What if you weren't as public, thought they wouldn't be as protective? Yeah, he brought all of this onto this app, and I sat back and watched and listened to it all happen. There is a protection order against the lie, or protecting the why. Yeah, and so again, I have to go back to that song, and I think the song at the beginning of the live is relevant because you have to learn from this, right? Cindy, how does it end? I don't know. I honestly, I couldn't tell you how this is going to end because again, I stay quiet. It happens. I speak up and it happens. So, I mean, the proof is all right there. Yep. Thank you, guys. Here's a good question right here. How are you able to take the first step to speak out? It was a conversation with my mom and said, if you want to talk, talk. And so I said, let's talk. Let's talk about this. Let's get it out there. And, when you do this, you put yourself out there, you become completely vulnerable. It's super uncomfortable. And you have to be prepared for what comes with that. And at the time, I don't know if I was prepared, but I feel like I am now. I certainly feel like I am now because I've got a great support system. Yep. Your mom described it as his cows got out of the barn and you can't get it back in. Oh, that's too funny. Yeah, so I appreciate you guys at least listening to me. You don't have to agree, but I at least appreciate you listening. And there's a lot of people that have listened, but there's also a lot of people that are hearing me. And I really appreciate that. I truly, truly do. And so, thank you. Thank you, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I get this live posted onto the YouTube channel. So if anybody missed it, you can go back and check it out. And let's see, your ex blocked you. Because there's so many people that have these experiences or that are living through this right now. So, okay, Donner, protection orders, again, they're a piece of paper. And that I was advised to block on all social media. I did that. Changed my phone number, and I had several people say that. Change your phone number. I said, why? I've had this phone number since I was 18 years old. Why do I have to change my life because that guy's an asshole? Why do I need to change my ways? I had to change everything because that guy's an asshole. So I didn't. I'm not going to. I don't plan on it. Keep him a number. It is his responsibility to not contact me, to not harass me, to not stalk me, to not intimidate me. The onus is on him. Right, and eventually you'd probably get my number. Right, and every attempt to contact, it's another warrant. So there you go. There you go. Good. Don't change yours. You don't have to. Yeah, it's incredible, right? Again, what is that? That's intimidation. Yep. So really, I want to thank you guys. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate all of you. Check out the YouTube if you missed it. I'll get it up there soon. And then if you want to reach out, my email is in my bio as well. But really, really thank you guys. Hi, Chris. And really, really thank you guys for all your support. So I'm going to take off for the night, but thank you all. Take care.